Thank you, Gary. Good. Welcome, everybody. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Here.
I'll reflect that Councilman Dooley is absent. Councilwoman Nicholson? Here. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Here.
Supervisor Colavita?
Here. Yes, Councilman Dooley had a death in the family. Unfortunately, his mother-in-law passed away, so he's attending to family business. And, of course, we extend our deepest condolences to the Dooley family. Okay, we have approval of minutes of the November 3rd, 2021 Town Board meeting and the November 3rd, 2021 Special Town Board meeting. Any modifications or amendments? There being none, someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have our reports of departments, boards, and commissions. Police Department report, Chief Bonci. We can receive and file our October 2021 parking summons V&T violations town ordinance report, together with our detective report and statement of accounts. Anything further, Chief?
Just to let the board know, we are continuing with our screening of our candidates. Hopefully next week we are going to have some interviews. Lieutenant Rodriguez and Lieutenant Bernstein have been doing backgrounds on some of the candidates. We have the new Westchester County list, so we had a good pool of candidates to pick from. So hopefully we'll get that moving for the January Academy. Also, I know that later in the agenda you have the approval of the memorandum of agreement for both the police officers and lieutenant. I just want to thank you and the board for the work on that. One of the main things in that memorandum of agreement is a schedule adjustment. I think it works for the department. Lieutenant Rodriguez also put a lot of time into planning that out and everything. So I think it'll help the officers with a little bit better quality of life, not switching their tour every single week. And I think it works for the town also. It will staff well. And, I'd just like to thank you for working together with them on that. I think it was one of the best, collaborative efforts between the PBA and yourself and Dawn Donovan also is very involved in those negotiations. So I think the men and women of the department really deserve their raises. I think they've done a good job. They worked through the pandemic, and so I just want to, note that. That's all I have. Any question?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have the Law Department report. Mr. Reda?
Yes, good evening. First, I have a resolution authorizing the supervisor and the town board to render a determination as to the employment status of a town employee.
Yeah, by way of background, this was on the last town board agenda, but it was moved over to this agenda for further review. This stemmed from an event with an officer on January 9th, 2021. On February 25th, 21, the officer was served with disciplinary charges for misconduct and incompetence. Then the officer was placed on administrative paid leave. The town utilized a neutral third-party hearing officer with no connection to the town and with an impeccable reputation for his work as a hearing officer. After several adjournments by the officer, a disciplinary hearing was held in June and into July over 5 different days. And a decision was rendered on October 18th by the hearing officer, and he found fact, meaning the findings of fact. And the town board has exhaustively reviewed the record and the report of findings and final determination issued by the officer on that said date of October 18th. So, Mr. Reda, do you have a resolution prepared?
Yes, Supervisor, I have prepared a resolution, and it reads as follows. Whereas on or about February 25th, 2021, disciplinary charges were preferred by the Chief of Police, Timothy Bonci, against Police Officer Anthony Barbaran, and whereas on or about February 28th, 2021, Barbaran submitted his answer to disciplinary charges and requested a hearing to contest the charges, and whereas in accordance with the town's of Eastchester's Local Law Number 3, 2010, a local law known as the Local Law Permitting the designation of hearing officers to preside over certain disciplinary proceedings, the town thereby then appointed Robert Ponzini as the presiding hearing officer. And whereas a disciplinary hearing was held before hearing officer Ponzini on the following dates: June 17, 2021, June 18, 2021, June 25, 2021, July 12, 2021, and July 13, 2021. And whereas hearing officer Ponzini prepared a report of findings and a final determination, which was dated October 18, 2021, and which has been presented to the town board. And whereas the town board has reviewed and considered the record of disciplinary proceedings in the hearing officer's report, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby adopts the findings and recommendations set forth in the report of hearing officer Ponzini dated October 18, 2021, and in accordance therewith terminates the employment of Anthony Barbaran effective immediately.
Yeah, I'll move that.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. It is unfortunate when we have to do this and we're called upon to do this, but it is our function, it is our role as the final arbiter of disciplinary charges. This was particularly unique in that we had a lot of tumultuous action regarding this particular matter. I know the board members have reviewed the record, but particularly there's a couple of provisions I need to enunciate. In page 18, the hearing officer indicates that, quotes, perhaps the most troubling of all allegations of misconduct and incompetence lodged against respondent are that he reported in an official police blotter lies and told untruths to his supervisors. It hardly needs stating that the criminal justice system relies not just on the hard work of its sworn officers, but upon their honesty and integrity as well. Here, the town has proved that the respondent showed neither of those qualities regarding the incident on January 9th, 2021. Further, he indicates that in sum, it's on page 20, not only did the respondent lie in his report, lie to his superior, lie in the internal affairs interview, but he also lied at the hearing. I thus discredit his entire testimony and find that the proffered retaliation defense for being an alleged whistleblower is unfounded and meritless. As to the penalty, he has found the respondent guilty of charges 1, 2, and 3, and the issues presented for the penalty. His recommendation is as follows. This is his exact recommendation. Based upon the foregoing, while I find that the respondent has been found guilty of all the specific charges, 1, 2, and 3, that were preferred against him, one charge merits special attention. A police officer who lies in his reports and who lies to his supervisors evinces behavior that is beyond rehabilitation. Furthermore, his lies were manufactured to cover up his incompetence, unprofessionalism, and most importantly, his unconstitutional actions. He was previously warned, and attempts to retrain him were unsuccessful. A police department cannot train truth-telling, and it should not have to. This officer's conduct in telling lies and writing his lies in police reports that find their way to the district attorney's office, defense attorneys, and the courts alone merits termination. Petitioner has engaged in conduct which could tend to destroy the public's confidence in his integrity and honesty as a police officer. Therefore, his conduct must be viewed in the context not only of the failure or turpitude of the individual, but also of the harm or risk of harm to the agency or institution or to the public generally. And he recommended that there be termination. This is a very tough matter, and this was not an isolated incident. The officer had several prior issues regarding searching. In matter of fact, in 2014, he had failed to search a prisoner who had a box cutter. He also failed to search a prisoner who had a bandana who tried to kill himself. There was an issue here with regard to failing to search the prisoner, or unlawfully searching the prisoner, and then failing to search the prisoner once he came to lockup as drugs were found on him. And the officer in question was given, back in 2014, a last chance discipline, meaning if he had a problem again, he consented to termination. The chief looked past that And a second time this occurred, and he looked past that. We gave him every opportunity, 2 opportunities, to become a better officer when we could have had the right to terminate him. Unfortunately, this occurred, and the recommendation for termination from the hearing officer has been upheld by the town board. You know, lastly, it needs to be said that there were racist charges levied against this town board which are completely false. The officer has identified in the past as Caucasian or white in different circumstances, and it was, you know, not accurate to say that this board was racist in any manner. Secondly, he called his town board and his fellow officers corrupt, and I think it's obvious where the corruption lie. So I don't want to belabor the point. I don't think it's necessary to recite all the facts, but you know, this was a determination that the board had made based upon the record, based upon the recommendation of a hearing officer who was completely neutral and had no ties whatsoever to the town of Eastchester. And as I said earlier, enjoys an excellent reputation as a hearing officer. So with that being said, I think it's important to conclude this matter and to have the police department and the people in this town move past this. We'll see if the Journal News or the News 12 covers this issue. I don't really care whether they do or they don't. It's not a good day for the town of Eastchester. It's unfortunate this is happening, but hopefully this officer will move on, the town board will move on, and the people of the town of Eastchester will move on as well. And we wish him luck. Okay, that being said, that moves us over to the number 2 item on your agenda, Mr. Reda.
Yes, next I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of a property damage claim by the Eastchester Fire Department against the town of Eastchester in the amount of $4,000 for damages to a fire truck by a town vehicle which occurred on February 20th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia? Aye. Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye.
Okay, and last, I have a resolution authorizing a settlement of a certiorari proceeding instituted by Eastchester Associates LP, affecting the premises known as Section 63J, Block 1, Lot 1, 693 White Plains Road. The assessment years on this property are from 2015 through 2020, tax years 2016 through 2021, and the total town tax refund is $32,841.15.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia? Aye. Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have the Highway Department report. Mr. Latello. See, leaf trucks are up and sucking in some serious leaf tonnage.
Are finally starting to fall down. Good evening, Supervisor Colavita and members of the town board. I'd like to report our crews have been assigned for leaf pickup. We remind our residents that pickup is on an unscheduled basis. Our green waste pickup, which includes leaf bags, branches, grass clippings, and all other items, will be picked up also on an unscheduled basis. We're planning on having all these items picked up before the first snowflakes. Our residential food scrap recycling program has begun. We encourage our residents to visit our 24/7 drop-off that has been provided and located at the dead end of Farella Way, next to our compost bin. On Wednesday, December 1st, we will resume our pickups of e-waste and metal items, which are suspended in the month of November due to leaf pickup. I'd like to salute the Girl Scout Troop 1531 for the excellent job in organizing and honoring our veterans and active service members of the military. The Hometown Heroes banners look great. And I'd like to wish all a happy and a healthy Thanksgiving. That's all I have to report.
Any questions?
No, I just, thank you for that. I wanted to point that out. I wanted to say thank you for putting those banners up. The Girl Scouts did a tremendous job, but you and your crew put the banners up, and the town looks magnificent, and they look spectacular when you're driving down Route 22. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was definitely a well-deserved honor by all of our veterans and those that served in the military. It's, you know, it's important to recognize them because they really are our hometown heroes.
We were glad to have them up for Veterans Day. It was really nice.
Yeah, you guys did the right thing. It looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have the receiver of taxes report, which we can file. That's for the month of October. And then we have next our correspondence agenda. And we have a memorandum from the Controller on part-time seasonal employees. We have a few people here for EIBL, which is starting up shortly, or probably has started already, as a matter of fact. So I'll make a motion for them and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson. Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the Controller on the Police Officers Union, memorandum of agreement. And as Chief Bonci indicated earlier, we are delighted to support the agreement that the town and the Police Officers Union have come to. And in essence, basically, it's a 3% increase for 2021 and 22, and also the experimental work chart, or the scooter chart, as they call it, which we're happy to give to the officers. They certainly are deserving of, our recommendations, and I think this is a very good agreement, and I'm delighted that they embraced it wholeheartedly. So I'll make the motion to approve this and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson. Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum, a very similar memorandum from the Controller on the Police Lieutenants and Captains Association, Inc. Memorandum of Agreement, and this pertains to our police lieutenants. They're in a separate union from the regular patrol. But of course, we all work together, and it's, we're kind of all in the same pot. But similarly, they have 3% for 20, 21, 22, and we're going to give them 3% for 23 as well. We have a modification in the insurance waiver and some other adjustments, but we were glad that the lieutenants organized. They came to the town and said, would you be okay and supportive if we created our own union? Said, of course we would. We'd have no problem with that, and they've done an excellent job and are also as deserving as patrol. So I'll make the motion on this and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson. Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the Controller regarding some budget transfers and revisions, and we have miscellaneous transfers here over a host of different departments. So I'll make a motion on these and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson. Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the Lake Isle General Manager on the golf course irrigation renovation project. And basically, at the Lake Isle Advisory Board annual meeting, the town board and the advisory board concluded that it's time to pay attention to the system at the irrigation system at Lake Isle. It is extremely antiquated and really not functioning well at all. And we've spent a lot of money fixing up the course with regard to the bunkers, the tees, aeration, and different drainage issues and whatnot. So it's only appropriate that the next iteration of improvement at Lake Isle Golf Course would be what is desperately needed, and that's a new irrigation renovation. So what Mr. Papadimitriou has done is he's sought to retain a firm to handle the proposed citing of all of this stuff, and also to give us a preliminary examination, a preliminary review of what we're going to be doing up there, like an architectural design and specifications. And the totality is $58,000. The goal is to get this work concluded in 2023. So 22 is going to be, another year with the same system, but it's going to take that much time to put together, the contractors and go to bid, and perhaps we have to do bidding once or twice again, or a second or third time. But, the whole point is that we need to get the process started, and you always start with the golf course designer, architect, and someone that can do some geomapping for you so we have it all worked out. This is actually the best time to do work because there's no leaves on the trees and there's no snow on the ground yet. So we want to try and get this off the ground. And of course, golf is going to be ending shortly. So we're delighted that we'll be able to do that. So this is for the retention of Renzetti and James Barrett Associates. That's Insight Engineering, Surveying and Landscaping, and James Barrett Associates, LLC, for the golf course irrigation design and consulting. Someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson. Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the Superintendent of Parks and Recreations regarding the EISEP Information and Assistance Services Contract. Simply stated, that's expanded in-home services for the elderly program. It's an extra a maximum amount of $36,981, and that's to get our seniors housekeeping, personal care, respite, case management, and other things that are not medical in-home treatments. And the service allows for the residents to stay in their homes and continue to live independently. That's what this is about. We have fantastic programs for the seniors. Not only do we take them to the doctors and to shows and shopping and all, and we also have the nutrition center, but we also will go to their homes and do light cleaning and do all kinds of personal care and assistance to keep them in place. We want to have them age in place because, of course, they mean the world to us. So that's what we'll do. I hope that we get the full $36,981, but we'll do the best we can to assist this program. So I'll make the motion. Ask for a second, please. Second. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the police department, on the police chief, on a stop DWI contract, and this is for the receipt of approximately $8,400, which will run through 12/31/2025, and will provide reimbursement to the town for the project expenditures. And it's all about stopping DWI. So I'm happy to move this. Ask for a second, please.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have, or last, I should say, we have our memorandum from the supervisor regarding a public hearing for the 2022 budget. And what I'm proposing is, because the town budget needs to be adopted by December 20th, 2021, I'm requesting that at our next town board meeting, we'll have a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, that's December 7th, 2021, because our next meeting would be on the 21st, which is after the deadline to get the budget approved. So we'll have our public hearing on that day. Someone care to make a motion?
I'll move it.
Second it.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Aye. Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Okay, there being no miscellaneous business, we have a council member reports. Councilman Marcoccia?
Thank you, Supervisor. Just a couple of brief things. I wanted to mention our veterans had a very nice ceremony at the Parkway Oval in Tuckahoe on Veterans Day. I again want to thank them again for their service to our country. It's not an easy thing to do, to sign up for the armed forces and to go to, an unknown land perhaps, and to protect our freedoms here. So, and that's exactly what they've done. And I thank them very much for doing that. And I also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and a safe Thanksgiving, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicholson?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. Holidays are here, and there's a big lineup of activities and events coming our way. And the first one is the Tuesday, November 30th, the Gelt Drop at Memorial Park, and that runs 5:30 to 7 p.m. Come join us and the Eastchester Fire Department as we light the town's menorah and drop candy gelt from the ladder truck. Then the next one will be our Santa Stop on Saturday, December 4th at Gazebo Park at 12 to 2 p.m. Stop by and see Santa and enjoy some holiday crafts and treats. And then we have another event on Sunday, December 5th, holiday lights at Memorial Park from 4 to 3:30. And again, there'll be lighting of the tree, the menorah, and creche at Memorial Park. Come one, come all. And this new this year is Sunday, December 12th, a winter festival that will be held here at Eastchester Town Hall with activities and fun for kids. Food, desserts will be for sale. Holiday guests will be at the event, and the time for that is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You could check out the town's website right before Thanksgiving for more information on each of these events at www.eastchester.org in the Parks and Recreation section. Also, be sure to look at our Instagram page at Remoter Creation for up-to-date information about all programs and events. And that is all I have this evening. Thank you.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Thank you, Supervisor. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving, certainly to all the families here and all the students who might be traveling to and fro. And I wanted to remind people that the Saturday after Thanksgiving is Small Business Saturday. So keep it local and do some shopping, maybe eat in some restaurants. And if you can't do any of that, maybe pick up some gift certificates because they also go a long way. And want to just I'll help support the local businesses. So that concludes my report, Supervisor.
Thank you. Generate some sales taxes. Also, for my own report, I'll be meeting next week with the people of Lord & Taylor's who would like to go over a virtual presentation on the initial plan for development of of the Lord & Taylor location. Presently, they're going to be putting some offices in to be there temporarily until the planning process concludes, which is going to be a long process. But we're going to get the ball rolling with them, and I'm delighted that they're actually seeking some input from the town prior to any submission. So I'll be keeping everybody posted about that, and hopefully we'll have a nice facility there once all is said and done. And that concludes my report, and that brings us to the second opportunity to address the board. Anybody out there? Good evening.
Good evening. Ken Simonides, 144 Anderson. Quick question. Are those banners still able to be purchased, the ones for the veterans?
No, unfortunately not. What happened was the posts got the word out to their membership, and that was pretty much the base of the orders. But a lot of people that aren't involved with the different posts in town really wanted to have them out there. So we're telling everybody that called the office that we'll put you on in connection with them and put it on a list, and then next year we'll have even more of them. So what we're going to try and do is, like come May, when Memorial Day comes around, we might try to do the same type of thing. So we'll see how it goes, but there's certainly going to be a future opportunity to get additional banners.
Oh, because a few neighbors have asked me, you know, if
A
I
lot
hear-
of people have asked,
If
yeah.
you hear anything, let me know, so on and so forth.
Correct.
Anyway, I'm here tonight to ask, I was here September 21st, and I read an email that was sent to my job on behalf of Chief Timothy Bonci to try and slander my name. I asked for a formal investigation. I want to know what's the status of that.
Well, we're not permitted to censure or discipline the chief for exercising his constitutional rights. You know, good, bad, or indifferent, he has the right to foil anything like anybody else does, like you did, or your son, or his attorneys, or whomever else.
Okay, well, my problem with this, Mr. Supervisor, is that he is the chief of police 24/7, and I've heard you say that numerous times at meetings. If he's putting out a FOIL request, there was no formal complaint put in against me. Am I correct, Timmy? Did you put a formal complaint in?
Yeah, address the chair, please. Address me.
Well, I'm addressing the chair to him, and I would like an answer.
I don't have an answer to that.
Well, maybe he can answer.
He has no answer either, no.
Just a FOIL
It's a
request?
FOIL request.
Okay. Now, if you put a complaint in against somebody, 2 complaints went in against me, like I said, both of them false, claiming that I was out on a 207A disability, which I was not, claiming that I worked at the Home Depot in Thornwood, which I do not work at the Home Depot in Mount Pleasant since 2016. Now, if there is any formal complaints or a complaint put in asking for investigatory measures, which I was put under, if there's no formal complaint, then that, I'm guessing, would be an illegal investigation, correct?
I have no idea. I can't speak to that. The fire department is not the town, you know, we have no jurisdiction over the fire department or how they conduct, you know, interviews or, you know,
So now-
letters or whatever.
So if somebody put a complaint in against somebody in the town, came into the police department, put a complaint in against somebody, don't they have to sign an agreement or something stating that your facts are correct 100%?
I'm not really sure about that, Ken. Sometimes they get anonymous letters. Sometimes they get things that are signed. Sometimes if things rise to a level of criminality, they require a sworn report or some kind of documentation. But I honestly, I really don't know the
Okay,
particulars
well,
of that.
I'm going to read something, and I think this pertains to my situation. And what qualifies libel? Definition: libel is a method of defamation expressed by print, writing, pictures, signs, effigies, or any other communication embodied in physical form that is injurious to a person's reputation, exposes a person to public hatred, contempt, or ridicule, or injures a person in his or her business or profession. Now, based on that email that the chief wrote to my job, he's in my book, he's subjecting himself to a libel lawsuit and slander and defamation of character. Now, again, this all occurred after I spoke at the March meeting and I spoke at the April meeting. The next day at 4:05 p.m., Chief Timothy Bonci wrote this FOIL request. And it's funny that he's using the Chiefs Association lawyer as his personal lawyer. I find that like a conflict of interest, that you're hiring somebody that represents a body as your personal lawyer. Now, in regards to the June meeting when I was coming down, when he bumped into me violently in the hallway, I think that this man definitely needs to be investigated, because you cannot have a man that is so bent on trying to go after somebody. And based on his lies here, I believe what he put in against my stepson was also lies. You say that my stepson lied, I find that very disingenuous, Tony. Because you said to me and you said to my wife, the board has no intentions of firing my son, and he would get a fair hearing. I was at that hearing. It was anything but fair.
I did not attend the hearing because we're precluded from attending the hearing.
Right.
All I can say is that we guide ourselves by the facts as found by the hearing officer. And in this particular case, this board gave no opinion whatsoever in advance of the decision. We reviewed the entire record, and with regard to the decision or the recommendation by the hearing officer, that's all foilable. You get a copy of it if you like. If you read it, in my opinion, it wasn't even close. This was completely, this was not good for your son in any manner whatsoever.
Right, and this is what I had said to you, at the previous meetings, that I don't feel that he was going to get a fair shake from somebody that you're paying to run a hearing.
Yeah, look, you can say whatever you like. This was decided by an impartial third party, got no connection to the town of Eastchester. He's never done a hearing for the town of Eastchester in the past. He has an impeccable reputation, and he went through this process for 5 days. Everybody put their briefs in. Afterwards, everybody, gave everything they had to say about it, and he rendered a decision which was, very much, against what your son was saying. I'm not calling your son a liar, but this is what was said in the record, and that is a problem for the town board because we have to go by what the record tells us, what the finders of fact have reported to us, and that's how we base our decision. Not about stuff at the microphone, not about hearsay, not about people telling all kinds of baloney, all that kind of stuff. We base our decision solely on the record, and this was clear that this was a problem for your son.
Well, let me ask you this question. You just said that this guy never did a hearing before for the town of Eastchester. That is an incorrect statement, Mr. Supervisor.
No, it's very correct.
So there was no hearing for the chief when he had his problem with the firearm?
No, that was Officer Rosado. I think you're referring to Rosado the prior time. There wasn't any hearing there. I'm not mistaken. Oh, I'm not sure if it was the guy from New Rochelle or the Mount Pleasant person. Maybe he did. Maybe he did one for the town. You may be correct about that. I'm just not sure. I can't remember which person it was. Because there was a hearing officer we used from New Rochelle as well, who's passed away, unfortunately, just recently. I'm not sure if he did Officer Bonci's or Chief Bonci's disciplinary hearing.
Right. Well, I was under the impression
sure
that he did, and maybe there was no hearing. Maybe there was just whatever he, settled on.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ken. There was no hearing because I was either the guy from New Rochelle or there was no hearing because I think the chief was given charges and he, basically pled to the charges and that was it. He was disciplined after that.
Okay. Well, like I said,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to correct you. I think what he's referring to with Officer Rosado, it was, I think 10 or 11 years ago, but we had hired Mr. Ponzini to be the hearing officer, but that case never went to hearing. The matter was settled, and it was stipulated, and it was resolved.
That's right, that's right.
He never actually did a hearing.
All right, so
Anyway,
it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Anyway, you know, it seems that in this day and age that these lies were put in on my FOIL request. I kind of question the integrity of the chief and his ability to tell the truth, because this is blatantly false, and his email states that it's well known throughout the town that I was working at Home Depot. So was he conducting an investigation on me that I was unaware of? And what was the basis for the investigation? There was no complaint to him about what I'm doing. You know,
I don't know. All I know is I just concern myself with the facts of this particular matter, and this is the decision that we've rendered tonight. And I feel it's unfortunate for your son, but I said earlier, I wish him the best of luck, and he can move on, and we shall move on also.
well, you know, that the lawsuit has not gone away, and, you know, the truth will come out there. And I hope, congratulations on your reelection, by the way.
Thank you.
Luigi, and Mrs. Nicholson, congratulations on your reelection. You know, like I said, this has to be investigated, that he's putting in false accusations against me. Because you've known me for a long time, Mr. Supervisor. And you know, I don't do things to be troublemaker. And for him to put this into my job to try and blemish my record, and he was denied on a disciplinary action request. He was denied because there is none.
Well, he followed the process, and it didn't work out. And
Well, you know, if you're going to make an accusation against me, it better be 100% correct. You cannot be going and fabricating things against people. And if he doesn't like to hear somebody say something about him, I'm sorry, you got to get a little thicker skin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nobody else? Okay, thank you. All right, everyone, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope everybody enjoys their turkey and lasagna, perhaps, amongst other goodies everybody will be having. Wish you all a wonderful, wonderful Thursday, and shop in Eastchester on Friday, please. Thank you all. We are adjourned.
Okay, Lou.